Attention please. A couple of things. First, welcome back after our second holiday break. 4 days off was kind of nice. Secondly, Jenna has volunteered to record and then distribute lectures via YouTube. If any of you have a problem with the camera in here during class, let me know or Jenna know, and then we'll do something about this. But I appreciate Jenna taking the initiative to do that. So if you miss a lecture in here, it should be posted on YouTube. That's kind of a cool thing. Second thing was we're going to have a map quiz, which I was going to pass this out to you last Friday. However, we didn't have school on Friday. But we didn't have school again. So what I'm going to do is pass this out to you right now, and we're going to go over the countries that you need to know for this map quiz on this upcoming Friday.
Yes, this is a map. Regular one.
Here are the countries that, once this gets around, I'm going to tell you the countries that you're responsible for knowing. One of the things in talking with some students, I think there's kind of some geographical ignorance that's going around, and it might be good just to have a basic quiz on where some of these countries in Europe are. Thank you. This is not a huge deal. But let's go ahead and take a look at the ones. Please circle the ones that you're responsible for knowing, because you're not responsible for every single one on this. We're going to start in the lower left-hand corner, or that would be the southwest if we're going geographically. Portugal. Circle that one. Spain. France. United Kingdom, Ireland, the Netherlands,
See, this is the problem.
This is the problem right there. Thank you. Belgium.
Where did you say the Netherlands?
Belgium.
Oh.
Switzerland. Italy. Greece, Turkey, or in ancient times known also as Ionia, Croatia, Hungary, Austria, Czechia, Germany.
There are so many. I didn't even know these were all here.
Denmark. It's right north of Germany. Norway. Sweden, also known as the home of IKEA. Finland. Russia.
Russia's based behind.
And Poland. Okay. All right, so I've cut some countries off, but I do want you to know these. Many of you probably already know this as of now, but basically I'm going to give you a blank map when you come in here with numbers on this, and you just kind of fill this out. This is very cut and dried. I mean, this won't kill your grade in the class if you don't do it, but it really is kind of nice to know where some of these countries are in a map as an educated high school person. This is not too difficult. So we'll do that on Friday. All right, we will get back to Hamlet tomorrow. Ms. Fimler will be in here as it's Wednesday, but today I'm going to be, what's that?
This is Fimler's birthday.
It is.
Can we write our birthdays today and sign it?
I don't have a card. But tomorrow, I think that would be a great idea.
I made one.
You made one?
No, I can't make one.
No. Yes? They divided it a few years ago, but you're right, it used to be one thing.
So we are one?
I'm complete.
No, we're not.
Dang.
We're gonna do that tomorrow.
I know, I heard Hamlet, and I was like. I'm sorry. Look, I have a half rating. Deeply Big Mac? Might as well. I remember one time I walked into this
Okay, folks, today we're going to be going through a little recap of the Renaissance and Reformation in the early modern period, and then we're going to be moving on to look at the English Reformation in particular. So I want to recap some things that we hit just at the tail end of last semester and really didn't test that much on because it is important stuff and it's in this semester's curriculum. As a reminder, dual credit forms are due Friday, January 25th. I had a few people email me over this break, all panicked, thinking that they were due on last Friday when we weren't here. It's like, no, that's not January 25th. So if you want to take any of these for college credit, this class or any others, that's great. It's not. It's Friday, January 25th. All right, let's recap the Renaissance. What exactly was the Renaissance?
Time of knowledge.
Okay, Renaissance literally means what? It's the rebirth of classical culture, okay, from 1400 to 1600. It's the rebirth of classical culture, okay? And what did the Renaissance do? The Renaissance is going to revive learning, okay? And it's going to start in Italy first. Now, what did the Renaissance do? It's going to revive this classical learning, and of course classical learning is learning from ancient Greece and ancient Rome. Because what happened during the Dark Ages? Somebody took it. The light of learning went away. It was extinguished. But the Renaissance, it's going to come back. And the Renaissance is also going to add some things to this mix, like skepticism. So the first time, really, in several hundreds of years, you're going to have skepticism. And Melissa, what's skepticism?
People started doubting things and like all kinds of.
Yes.
Yeah.
They started doubting and questioning things instead of just taking everything at face value. So the Renaissance is going to be pretty important in that regard. It's got skepticism. Another thing that it does is it values individualism. And what exactly is individualism? What is individualism?
That you can make something for yourself, like it's not just about everyone else.
Yeah, it's not about the community, it's about the individual person. And why is this important? Well, in many ways, the world has become, since the Renaissance, has been focused on you as an individual and your individual rights. Okay? Less about the community as a whole. Okay? So those are the two big things that the Renaissance did. And the Renaissance gave birth, the third thing the Renaissance did, was it gave birth to a new way of looking at the world. A new philosophical way of looking at the world called Renaissance humanism. Okay? And Renaissance humanism has these tools of looking at the world. And what were some of these tools in this tool bag of Renaissance humanism? One of the tools in the tool bag of Renaissance humanism was classical languages. Why is the use of classical languages, like reading things in the original Greek or the original Latin, so important? What's the reason, what's the profitability in reading in ancient Greek or Latin? Yes, ma'am?
Things can get lost in translation.
Very much so, they can get lost in translation. You can lose the meaning of what a word is. For instance, last hour class we were looking at Heraclitus, and the Gospel of John chapter 1 uses the word "in beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." Well, the Greek word is logos, and one of the meanings of logos is word, but another meaning of logos is ultimate truth. So if you're, whether you use word or ultimate truth is a pretty substantive difference in the overall impact or meaning of that sentence. And so reading it in the original is very important. So now they were going to go back and study classical Greek and Latin language so they can see what the Greek authors and the Roman authors actually meant. That's very important. The other thing, another tool that they were going to be doing is they were going to try to harmonize in humanism pagan ideas and Christian ideas. And what does it mean to harmonize pagan and Christian ideas? First of all, I guess I should define what does it mean to be pagan? What does it mean to be pagan? Non-Christian. So anything that was non-Christian, they're just going to throw out. Now, during the Dark Ages, it was difficult to bring in any Greek or Latin learning because for the most part, that came before the Christian era. Well, what they're going to try to do is see just because if it came before the Christian era doesn't mean that it's bad. So they're going to try to bring that in. And how they're able to do this is a third tool that they have in humanism, and that's called historicism. Historicism, okay? And Abby, do we remember what historicism is?
It's like you can't judge something from a certain time era because things were different back then and they aren't the same as they are now. So like we can't, I don't know. Something
So
like
you can't criticize George Washington for being a slave owner today because it was acceptable in his era then. Now, if a current person were favoring slavery today, we could be very critical of him because that's at odds with our current value system in this country. So that's kind of what that is. So could you criticize Socrates or Plato for not being Christian in the 4th or 5th century BC? Why not? Yeah. So that led to an attempt to harmonize this Greek and learning. So they would use pagan themes. And humanism is also going to be looking, what were some of the other tools that they had of humanism? Overall, just a hearty skepticism. And they're going to be using textual criticism. They're not going to accept what authority says anymore. They're going to be looking at textual criticism. You may remember, if you're in this class last semester, the story of Lorenzo Valla and the donation of Constantine. Who was Constantine? Yeah, the first Christian emperor of the Roman Empire. And according to church tradition, the reason that the Roman Catholic Church was the biggest single landowner in Europe during the late medieval period was because the church had received a large donation of Constantine, by Constantine, the Roman emperor, on his deathbed. Well, Lorenzo Valla, who was a Renaissance humanist, who actually worked for the Catholic Church, went through and he was looking at this, and what did Valla find? They lied. Why? Well, to get more land, that's true, but how did he prove? He proved the church had lied through textual criticism, because what was in the donation of Constantine will? Punctuation and capitalization. And why was that a problem?
Because it was the time that he would have written it.
That's right. That's right. That didn't happen, capitalization and punctuation, until the Carolingian Renaissance, led by Alcuin of York around 800. Constantine died over 400 years before. So how could that be in there? Okay? Another tool of Renaissance humanism is just, it valued the unlimited potential of humanity. It valued the unlimited potential of humanity. Now that's kind of a mouthful. But what does that mean, value the unlimited potential of humanity? If you look at this painting over here, with famous creation by Michelangelo Buonarroti, you've got Adam and you've got God. What's the relationship between man and God? God's higher than man, but really close. During the medieval period, the idea of mankind, the idea of humanity is, I am not worthy. I am a terrible human being. Any of you ever seen, it's on Netflix, and if you haven't seen it, you need to see it, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. There's a lovely scene in this where Monty Python, where they're going into this village where the Black Death is happening, and you see these monks going around, basically hitting themselves on the head. Now, the long and the short of it, folks, is the medieval world, the medieval mindset was that we are terribly flawed human beings. During the Renaissance and Renaissance humanism, the idea is that man is not to God's level, but man is humanity, I should say, to not use sexist language, but humanity is capable of achieving awesome things. And we may not be God, but we're real close. We may not be able to achieve perfection, but we can achieve a lot of truth and beauty. Now, why is this idea that we can achieve a lot of things, that we should strive for excellence, that we should strive for truth, that we should strive for beauty? Why is that such a big deal in stoking the engine of learning in European society?
It motivates them to go out and do what they think that they can do.
Yes. If you think I have talent and I have ability, I'm going to be able to achieve far more than if I think, oh, I am unworthy. I cannot do these things. So that's huge. I mean, you're all familiar with the children's book, The Little Engine That Could, correct? And why does the little engine that could get over the hill?
Because he thought that he could.
Because he thought that he could. And now that people think that they can because of Renaissance humanism, they're going to be able to get there. Okay? How did humanism differ from scholasticism? Well, humanism really sought, in many ways, to reform society. One of the last tools of the Renaissance humanist tool bag was something called rhetoric. And what is rhetoric? What is rhetoric? It's what? Influentially speaking. Beautiful or persuasive writing and speaking. And the reason you'd want to speak beautifully or write beautifully or paint beautifully is to communicate and change the world and make it a little bit better. And the goals of Renaissance humanism were to make the world a better place. The goals of medieval scholasticism really weren't that. Okay? They were about establishing certain universals, but they weren't really about reforming and making society better. And the goal of humanism was to make their society better. And there were two basic types of humanism during this period. And what were those two basic types? Civic humanism and Christian humanism. Okay? Civic humanism and Christian humanism. Okay? What was the goal of civic humanism?
To bring order to.
The goal of civic humanism was to reform society. Yes. And we have a guest from Missouri Baptist. Dr. Morris is here today. How are you, sir?
I'm getting better.
Well, good. Good.
Yes, and I'm glad to be here.
Well, glad to have you.
But I'll tell you why I'm here.
Okay. Guys, if you would turn your attention to Dr. Morris. He's from Missouri Baptist University, and he's here today to tell you about dual credit opportunities through MBU.
And if I look drunk, I am not. Sammy Davis Jr., Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, had a friend named Foster Brooks. And anyone familiar with stand-up comedian Foster Brooks? The one that did the drunk routine.
I am familiar with them, yes.
Well, sometimes I kind of favor Foster Brooks. I am not drunk. Thank the Lord I'm still above grass. and recovering from 6 surgeries in 2 years.
My.
Now, 3 of them were minor. The 2 were somewhat major. One was ankle, one was right knee, one was left knee replacement, one was a skin cancer, and this one is a skin cancer. These are minor. But last August, I had they removed an adrenal gland on the left kidney.
Mm.
And it messed me up so bad that they sent me home and didn't realize how bad it messed me up. 4 days later, I'm back in the hospital. I was there 18 days. And darn near died. They told my wife that, I guess it was about the 5th or 6th day I was there, they said he's within that much of it.
Mm.
So I am glad to be here today.
Well, we're glad you're here. I'm so sorry to hear about that.
And, so, this is information about the program we refer to as dual credit. If you'd like a copy, just take one and pass them on, and I'll pick them up somewhere or bring them back to me if you will, please. This program for high school juniors and seniors with a 3.0 or higher, or 2.5 to 2.99, with the recommendation of the teacher or counselor or coordinator. Coordinator in this case is Dr. Reed, so if you can convince, if you're 2.5 to 2.99, and you can convince him that you ought to take this course, then convince him. Last fall, just a few less than 2,500 students enrolled in this program. Big schools, small schools, medium-sized schools, parochial, private, public, etc. Advantages and benefits of a dual credit program. If you look on the left side of the page, top left side of the page, provides you an opportunity to experience college-level courses while you're still in high school. It's cost-effective. At $65 per credit hour, this course costs you $195. If you're on our campus taking the same course, it would cost you about $600 per credit hour.
Oh, that's a lot.
600 times 3, 1,800 minus 195 is what, 1,605? $1,605. You could take that money and put it in the bucket on Dr. Reed's desk and send him on the cruise of his choice, or the vacation of his choice.
Please do.
Yeah, my family would appreciate that. Last year we just went to South Dakota for a vacation. That was it.
I went on vacation last year,
Good for you.
so. Actually, I went to.
Have they made any progress on Crazy Horse?
Very little.
Wife and I were saw Crazy Horse in 1991, and the last picture I saw was just a couple years ago. They had hardly made any progress at all.
It doesn't look a lot different.
So, another benefit of dual credit. Any of you ever need wiggle room, maneuverability room, space in which to maneuver, getting a mess with a boyfriend, girlfriend, etc.? How am I going to get out of that mess? Getting a mess with your parents or your teacher? How do you get out of those messes? You need wiggle room. So taking courses during high school provides you with an opportunity when you walk into college to have wiggle room. My daughter had wiggle room. She took courses in high school, got into a course in college driving her crazy. She called home. Her mother and I said to her, Heather, drop the course. She did, took it the next semester, and made an A. Now, what's the difference in her life in a semester? I don't know, but the point is she had the wiggle room. Bottom of the page, transferability of credit. You can expect to transfer dual credit to colleges in Missouri and throughout the United States. And I had a student a few years ago who told me that she called a university in England, and they said that they would take dual credit. I mentioned the surgeries and all that a moment ago. I have one other default that I didn't mention. Maybe you've heard it. Also fell and knocked the tooth out, and I'm in the process of having it replaced with it. Actually, I talked better with this out than I can with it in. I think maybe by end of March, they're going to have the implant finished and done and ready to put in here, and maybe I'll be in better shape by then. Folks, I'm just falling apart, haven't I? Okay. I'm better than Foster Brooks anyway, aren't I? The backside of the page. Eligibility requirements, 3.0 or higher. Must submit a registration form, pay for the course. Late registration not accepted. Deadline for turning an enrollment in if you want to take this course is January 25th. January 25th, 2019. January 25th, 2019 to Dr. Reeves.
And one thing that I would say about that, guys, is given the fact that we had 2 snow days, I won't say unexpectedly, but kind of unexpectedly, if you have your forms filled out, I would not wait till the very last minute to turn it in, because January in Missouri, you never know what the weather's going to be. Could be great, it could not be great. Who knows?
Tuition, $65 per credit hour. Your transcript will list all courses for which you register, pay, and receive a grade. No prerequisite. Number 8, if for some reason you have to drop the course, this tells you how to do it. You would need to contact Dr. Reeves and go through the proper process. Bottom left side, this tells you how to have your transcript sent to the college of your choice. Bottom right side, student Excel office information. Any problem, anywhere, anytime, contacts this office, someone there shall help you. Questions?